Hey, thanks for watching the videos that I've been doing. Really appreciate the support that you all have been giving me as I've gone through my journey of getting going back to school, doing college all over again. It's been quite the ride. So far, it's been working out really well. I'm very happy about. And enjoying summer off, sort of. It's been really busy so far, but trying to work on more updates, more research, and things like that as well. So today I've got two things to talk about. One is a book review that I wanted to do. I don't think I've done this book yet. This was an interesting book to read by Bart Erhman called Misquoting Jesus. It's a really interesting book to understand more about how did the Bible come to be, specifically the New Testament. Uh, Bart is an interesting Bible scholar to follow. I think he's got a lot of good advice and ideas. I don't know if I fully agree with his opinion on things, but I think he's really smart. He knows what he's talking about. Has a ton of good information. So he's an interesting guy because he was raised evangelical, but today I think most people today would consider him quite agnostic. I don't think he believes Christianity is the right way to worship God, but I believe he does believe in God, just doesn't know quite how to worship him and work with him. So he's got a lot of interesting books that he has written over the years. I've got at least three of them that I've read myself. So this one here, Misquoting Jesus, is a lot about understanding some of the challenges of bringing the New Testament together. You see, the New Testament is a compilation of letters that were written. Not necessarily meant to be put into a book the way we have them today, but just letters that they were writing, the apostles and others were writing to members of the church to help people out and learn the gospel, stay unified in their ideas and how they administered things. But then later, scribes pulled those together and started looking at those, and he talks a lot about in here about some of the challenges that they face in dealing with these manuscripts and all these things. Traditionally, when we think of the New Testament, we we think of, okay, it was compiled finally together in what we know as the New Testament today, back in the second, third century time frame. They kind of had an idea of what they wanted to do. Got solidified in the third, fourth century with Constantine and establishing legitimacy for Christianity. And then the Masoretic texts were based on those guidelines and ideas. And then there were other English translations. William Tyndale and others did theirs that influenced what we know today as the King James Version, which has been the traditional standard version of the Bible for centuries. It's been around for a very long time. But what's fascinating in our day and age is we have hundreds of manuscripts of all different varying ages, in Greek and in Latin and other things that where the New Testament has been translated and retranslated or copied into these other manuscripts. So as we have the ability to go back and examine hundreds of versions of the New Testament in different languages and from different time frames. And because of that, we're able to re-look at what is in the Bible and think about it in a new way. And that's what this book is getting at, basically, is how has our perspective of the New Testament changed over time? So we can see certain things changed at certain time periods. And why did they change? What happened with that change? What was going on? So it's really interesting to get back into like original Greek manuscripts and look at those and to see comparisons to the King James Version, what's happening here. So it's nice because we're getting a more accurate understanding of the Bible, specifically New Testament. The challenge is, especially for evangelicals and more modern Christians, is there is a very pervasive belief that the Bible is complete, it is perfect, it doesn't need change at all. It's absolute. And it has been that way for centuries. So the problem is when you can go back and look at these manuscripts and realize, oh wait, that story suddenly appears 300 years later. We see it as a normal story today, but it wasn't back then. What happened? Why was it that way? Or or these words were changed over time. We can see that in the manuscripts. So the challenge is that belief that traditional Christianity has, that the Bible is perfect and absolute. According to the Bible scholars, those who, like Bart Erhman, who are doing some of this critical research, they can show the Bible's not quite as bulletproof as Christianity wants to believe it is. It doesn't mean it's a bad book, but it means we have to think different about what's in the Bible, and it's really helpful. Actually, it makes more sense when we look at the Bible and how it was created. Like, for instance, the story of the woman who was taken in adultery. That story does not show up in some of the earliest manuscripts of the New Testament. It shows up in a later manuscript. In fact, what the scholars have found, you can literally see pictures of how this is. That story suddenly shows up in the margins of one of the manuscripts that are 200 years after the time of Christ. That story starts to appear. And it's in the margin, basically. So you think of, I think it's in Luke is where that story is contained. It's there in the, it's so that chapter of Luke, it's in the margin. So most likely it was an oral tradition that was passed around. People heard this story and talked about it, and it happened around this same time in this area. And so one scribe at some point decided, hey, we need to preserve that oral tradition, that story. So it happened around this day, around this time, in this instance in the Savior's life. So I'm going to put it in the margin and said, this is a story we've heard recently that fits in the timeline about where this is. And that's where it was, in the margins, not in the chapter itself. However, in a later manuscript, there's a scribe that decided we just need to add that to the Bible. And so it went from being not there to being in the margin as a comment to being added to the chapter itself. So that gives us an indication, like a good example of how this works. That's not a story that was written down originally. So we can't vouch for the validity of it. We can't even vouch if it was a real story, if it was just a rumor or a tale, because it doesn't go all the way back to as far. We don't have originals of the Bible. We have copies of originals of the Bible, and we're not sure how accurate they are, but that's as far back as we can go. The nice thing about the Bible is it does corroborate itself well. It is a really good book, and it's not so far off in these little revisions and little things that it dramatically changes the whole Bible. But there's plenty of ample proof, like this book shows, that things have been changed and adjusted over time. And that's where some of the problem comes in. So Misquoting Jesus is a really good book. If you're a devout Bible reader and would like to understand some critical research on it, this is actually a pretty easy book to pick up and read for critical research, to look at the Bible in a different way. So it's a really good book. I recommend that one as well. Really good. I want to take a second and talk about the videos that I've been doing on the Bible. We've been releasing daily videos, with the exception of Saturdays when we do this video. And we've done this for 4.5 years. I say it's me. I am just about to start recording the book of Revelations. So I'm on the last book of the Bible, getting the videos ready to go. And I'm super excited. It's going to be some fun videos to go over. But there's also a challenge in this. You see, these videos are probably not going to be 10 to 15 minute long videos. They're probably going to be around 30, 45 minute videos each. The challenge is I do not have a lot of time to do these videos with our business and other things going on. I just don't have a ton of time. So I just wanted to let you know that you may see the frequency of videos decline this summer. We may cut back to only releasing 2 or 3 videos a week instead of 7 a week, just because I just can't keep up with them. With doing these longer videos, I can't keep up. And you may say, but Curtis, you did it in Isaiah. Like, you actually did, like, Isaiah averaged 45 minutes per chapter. Basically, each video is about 45 minutes long. and we kept a daily habit going there. And I'd say yes. The challenge, the opportunity, I should say, that I was given for that is because of Psalms and Proverbs were like short, that I was able to get ahead of the game by 3 months. I recorded Isaiah's videos 3 months before they were released. And so I had tons of time. And by the time we started releasing those chapters of Isaiah, I was still trying to record the last 7 or 8 chapters, or last. I was probably around chapter 40 when we started releasing Isaiah back in December. Um, but by the time I got to the end of Isaiah, I was like, what I recorded this week is going to go out next week. Like I had no buffer anymore, and so I just pushed through it and got it, which is great. I mean, it worked out well. I just don't know if I can sustain that any longer because I don't. I only have like a right now. We're sitting about a 2 week ahead, so it'll be about 2 weeks from now that the videos in Revelation are going to be released. But so we may cut down on the number of videos per week, still continuing to do those, but I just can't record them as often because I'm limited on my time. So just a heads up that we may see the frequency of videos drop from daily to maybe 3 a week. We'll see how it goes, but I think we're going to have some really good discussions in Revelations, and so it's gonna be a little bit slower. It'll be good though. A lot of thoughtfulness, a lot of good opportunities for discussion things in Revelation. So that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. So let's keep studying, let's keep learning, and I've got some ideas and things for more programs, more stuff coming up that I'm going to be doing, like Mountain Meadows Massacre, the Plan of Salvation, a video series on that, lots of other things coming up as well. So we're getting ready for the next book. In fact, after we finish the Bible, we're going to get into restoration scriptures, and then we'll get into Abrahamic religious scriptures like the Quran, the Torah, and then even get into non-Abrahamic religion like Hinduism and Confucianism and others, and read their scriptures as well and understand those. So if you have a favorite, if you have one of those major religions that you would like to have us read those scriptures and discuss those and talk about them, let me know in the comments, and maybe you can help me inform the schedule of what we're going to be doing when. So it'll be fun, a lot of good stuff to go over and talk about. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.